Layefa's village has no health service, no secondary school, no electricity, and no drinking water.
I think in 2004, a lot of people died. A lot. I think it's up to 20 persons. Children mostly. Even my mother's child, that's my sister, she even died of cholera. I think the death of my sister motivated me a lot to become a good medical doctor, not just a doctor, a good one.
The water is what gave me the typhoid fever.
You know, it took a lot of money to become a medical student. I need to pay for my accommodation and other things. And I'm going to put on nice clothes. That means I will start the fishing from this year to maybe 4 years' time.
Put your paddle that way.
This way?
Then, yes, like, no.
The fishing is not good because of the oil spill. They're killing most of the fish. And we don't even have big fish again, just small ones. Oh yeah, what bag would I Can it dip out? Sometimes the oil will be all over the whole fish. So you have to wash the fish, maybe with Omo. They're talking in the news that we have produced 1,000 or 1 million barrels of oil today. But instead of we being rich, we are getting more poor.
Layefa is describing a phenomenon known as the resource curse. Paradoxically, finding oil usually increases a country's poverty, as the oil wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few, so the agriculture, education and health system of the country become neglected and often collapse. The local people's health problems are compounded by gas flares, burning night and day throughout the Niger Delta. Asthma, bronchitis, skin diseases and cancer have all been linked. That gas is found alongside oil, but as it's dangerous to transport, it can't easily be sold to overseas markets. It could be used for cooking and heating within Nigeria, but building the infrastructure is expensive, so the oil companies just burn it off. The flares emit about 70 million tons of carbon dioxide every year, more than the annual emissions from 10 million British homes.
Because they have money and they are strong companies, they just do whatever they like.
Why are American cities designed so it's almost impossible not to have a car? Why were 100 railways in cities like New York, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles bought up and then deliberately destroyed? Why did the electric car get scrapped? Why were we, along with Australia, the only two countries not to sign the original Kyoto Climate Treaty? Why was an oil company lobbyist allowed to change official government reports on global warming? Why was the same PR firm employed by the tobacco industry to persuade the public that smoking is healthy, then employed by the oil industry to convince us there was still doubt about climate change? Alternative energy has been available for 50 years. Why have we barely used it? Why were solar panels taken off the White House? Because, right from the early days of the industry, the oil men and their obscene profits have had an unhealthy influence on the people running our country. And now, they are the people running our country. And they're providing the cash, too. Oil business isn't just in bed with the government, it is the government.
Here, Layefa is going to a nearby village, Odiama, that was massacred by the government. The village was involved in a dispute about ownership of a piece of land on which Shell planned to drill for oil. The government claimed that the village was harboring terrorists and, when they sent the military in to find those terrorists, the villagers opened fire on the soldiers. Layafa has gone to hear the villagers' side of the story from Momiaka Weked.
14 speedboats was coming, filled with militiamen. Then we saw 4 gunboats. The next we hear boom, house is burning. So we said, hey, let's run. The whole highland is shaking. There was a building here. They come and burned it down. So the one that managed to escape ran down into the forest, and most of, even 2 kids we had died here. 2 kids.
So you stayed?
I stayed 2 weeks in this forest, yes.
No food?
No food, no nothing. Plucking leaves.
But right in the bush, you can imagine what will happen to water there. We drank those water, and so many children died.
By then I was pregnant. So when I delivered this baby, because of the dirty water we drank, and when I gave birth to him, he was stooling and vomiting. Then I lose him.
Amnesty International investigated the massacre and concluded that, although the government was responsible for the killings, Shell Nigeria should have made sure that their activities did not contribute to the conflict.
Those ones that stayed, they gathered them up, beat them up, raped some of our girls. This was my grandfather's compound. He was living with his family. They burned down his compound, killed him.
They burnt him?
They shoot him.
They shoot him?
Yes. Those little children that was lying in our houses, they burned them off. Even the old men and women, the ones that are blind, they burned them off.
Human history is littered with the corpses of people who had stuff worth stealing. Animals. Water. Shiny things. Fertile land. Spices.
Nutmeg slice. Tea?
But when it came to stuff worth pinching, one continent had it all. Ivory, copper, cotton, rubber, wood, tin, gold, diamonds, and people. As cheap energy, slaves were unbeatable until a less troublesome energy source was discovered and a new era began. Human numbers increased 5 times over, and with each person wanting more and more stuff, oil became the resource worth fighting for all around the world.
To war in Iraq? According to former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan, it's simple, 3-letter answer, not WMD, it's OIL.
I am saddened that it's politically inconvenient to acknowledge what everyone knows, that the Iraq war is largely about oil.
You might read the ex-chairman of Shell that said over the weekend that oil could hit over $150 a barrel as world production begins to peak. Not really good news for a country whose entire economy, not to mention its entire way of life, is based on cheap oil.
Do it.
لأني ترفاج الجنة
جينا عمود الحرب جينا أنا الحجية جينا ورجعنا بعدين رجعنا كلنا عائلتنا ورجعونا بعدين جينا أنا ونورة وعدنان وطوبانا ورحنا يعني وجينا بعدين أجرنا لنا بيت.